Hello everyone. So on my last Hexclad video, I'll put a card up here for that if you haven't seen it, I got lots of comments asking about whether or not it was seasoned, how I seasoned it, what I seasoned it with, how long ago it was seasoned, what temperatures I was using, things like that. So I decided to make this video today and do all of that from start to finish, the full process, on camera, so you guys can see that happening, see exactly what I did, and then see what the performance is like after that. So this pan is about a year old now, almost daily use. Had just cooked something on it earlier, that's why it looks like that. So I'm actually gonna give this a very deep cleaning, see if I can get all the discoloration off of it. I'm gonna follow the tips that they suggested in their video, as well as their FAQs. I'm gonna use some Barkeeper's Friend, soak it, and give it a nice deep scrubbing. After that, I'm gonna follow the Hexclad Tips video on seasoning. And then after that, I'll follow the Hexclad Tips video on egg tips featuring the CEO, where he uses his personal pan from home and scrambles 2 eggs. And I'll see if I get the same results. And then I'll also repeat my over easy egg test from the last video. So let's start with the cleaning. The generous amount of Barkeeper's Friend in there. Give it a tiny bit of warm water. I'm just gonna spread this paste all around. I'm gonna let it sit on it for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll come back and really give it a good scrubbing and see if I can actually get all that discoloring off. So in the video, the CEO actually recommended using a steel scrubbing pad for really stubborn stains. I'm gonna try with this green Scotch-Brite pad first and see if it can come out. If it doesn't get it out, then I actually will grab a steel scrubby pad and see how that goes. I'll be back. So we got most of it off. Edges are now nice and clean, but this whole area is still discolored. And that was with the green Scotch-Brite pad. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little more Barkeeper's Friend on it, let it sit for a few minutes, and then come back with the steel scrubby. Right, as you can see, I made a much thicker paste this time, so it really stick to those problem areas. And I'm gonna go ahead with the big guy. Still feels weird doing this with a quote-unquote non-stick surface. Look at that. Now most of it did come off. A couple little areas here I'm gonna give a little more attention to, but it does look like the Barkeeper's Friend with the stainless steel, or with the steel scrubbing pad, really does bring it to close to like new condition. So I'm gonna spend a little more time on the trouble spots here. I'm looking at it closely now, and does not appear to be any scratches whatsoever. So the scratch resistance is definitely holding up. All right, here we are with my almost new looking Hexclad. Different story on the other side. Maybe I'll find some time to give that a nice scrubbing, but for now this should be completely stripped of any seasoning, and we'll start from scratch. So based on the Hexclad Tips video, seasoning your cookware with the CEO, he says to turn on your heat to somewhere between medium and low. Oh, wrong one there. So medium, that's low. So put it right there. Put 1 to 2 tablespoons of any vegetable oil. Here I'm using avocado oil. Put a little more there. and then swirl it all around. Let that heat up a little more first so it thins out a little. So I don't know if it's the avocado oil versus whatever oil he was using, but it doesn't quite swirl around and get as even coverage as he did in his video. I'm going to try adding a little more, and then I'm going to use a basting brush to get a little more even coverage. Nice coating all over now. Just to leave that for 1 to 2 minutes. I'll go for the full 2 minutes. So again, I want to keep everything on camera so you see exactly what's going on, but if you don't feel like staring at this, you can skip forward. I'm gonna speed up the video a little though, so it's not 2 minutes of nothing. Alright, it's been 2 minutes now. He said if you want to go ahead and cook with this oil, you can, or if you're not ready to cook, wipe out the excess oil, let it cool, and then wash it as you normally would. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wipe this out, let it cool, wash it with just some warm soapy water, which is what they recommend on the cleaning the cookware video they use, is to use warm soapy water, and that shouldn't ruin the seasoning according to them. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to come back and follow the CEO's egg tips video. Alright, so I washed this with just some warm soapy water and a soft sponge after the seasoning process. This has now been preheating on medium low for about 2 minutes. I don't have cooking spray, which he used in his video, but I'm just going to put a little bit of the avocado oil. Use my brush to spread that around a little. And in goes the wet sticky egg, as he says. Then I'm just gonna move that around back and forth a little. Egg is done. Does slide right out. And let's clean it with his method as well. Take a couple of pieces of paper towel, scrunch it up, a pair of tongs, and that wipes right out. Wipe the edges a little. I'm going to dump that out. Alright, so results were pretty similar to what he did in the video there. And then next I'm going to do the, I'm actually going to, I forgot to turn it off there. I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to wash it again. And then I'm going to do the over easy egg and see if I can do that. That's kind of the one thing with the Hexclad that's always been challenging for me, is to get a clean flip on the over easy. I actually have better luck. I actually can make over easy eggs perfectly every single time on my all clad stainless steel, not non-stick at all. Haven't been able to do it on the Hexclad, but with this kind of new seasoning, we'll give it another shot. I'll be back. Alright, so after the scrambled eggs, I let it cool down, washed it with some warm soapy water. It's been preheating again for about 2 minutes now. Put a little more oil, just a little bit. Brush here again. Spread that out. Oof. Put Right, that looks about ready to flip. See if it, so it's not, it can slide around by itself. But let's get this spatula in underneath, and that does release very nicely. Nice easy flip. Still doesn't just slide out though. So let's see here. I'll just break this loose a little. I think it's the peaks and valleys that you get from the little dots that prevents it from just sliding around very easily. But it is not stuck at all, so there you go. Alright, so I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, and then now I'm actually gonna do the egg trick from their promotional video. It was also featuring the CEO, where he puts a scrambled egg in, lets it cook, and then blows on it, and the whole thing just blows up. So let's see if, not blows up like explodes, like lifts off. Let's see if I can replicate that result as well. So I'm not washing it this time, just gonna continue here. Spread the oil around a little more. Wet sticky egg. Swirl around a little. So I'm going to turn the heat down a little, even a little lower. Just going to let that cook and then see if it lifts off when I blow on it. So you can see here, and one of the things I do really like about the Hexclad is how evenly it does heat. So searing meats, things like that, great sear, heats up very evenly and cooks very evenly. So that's done. Now let's see. Look at that, it worked. So if you're willing to treat it a little bit more like stainless steel, as you can see, non-stick qualities are very good. You can't treat it like a regular non-stick skillet. Make sure you're preheating properly, make sure you're seasoning the pan, so I guess not really like stainless steel in that regard, but like a carbon steel pan. seasoning makes a huge difference. So if you notice that things start to get stuck a little bit, re-season it. And as you can see, after a year of use, deep thorough cleaning, seasoned it again, I do get some pretty great results, even with sticky items like eggs here. So so I do appreciate all the viewers who left comments on my other video. That kind of drove me to do this deep clean and re-seasoning. There you have it. Certainly easier, certainly more forgiving than, say, the all-clad stainless steel. I'd say for certain things I still like the stainless steel better. Steaks, higher heat things, I prefer the stainless steel. But I do really enjoy the Hexclad, as long as you know what you're getting into, what to expect, how to care for it. It really does deliver some great results. Thanks for watching. GoPro, stop recording.